Hey, all you Neanderthals, it's Yao9 here once again, and I'm back with yet another quick toy review. Because I have this huge backlog, like I've said a billion times before, and I need to clear it this summer. So, yeah, expect a lot of action on this channel during the summer, and expect it to cool and pretty much go on hiatus again after the summer is over. But in more uplifting news, let's get on with the actual review, because today's review is going to be on a figure that's actually complete. Yay! Today's review is going to be on the figure, or the monster, Geranda, and this is a special variant of the figure, or not a very special variant, but a variant that I rarely see people talk about, because this is the 2000 variant of this figure. Now, before we get on to the figure itself, let's take a look at the tag. This is a picture of Geranda that they haven't used again past this release. Of course, there's only 3. There's one more from 1997 that I do not have, but in 2007, when the version I reviewed previously, this version came out, they replaced the image with a better one. But in any case, this is the original image that they use for all Geranda figures. So let's try to read some bad Japanese. Uchu yu yoku kaiju yu yoku kotsuju. What the? Uchu yu yoku kotsuju. Well, that was difficult. Geranda. Yeah, I don't know why I call it Geranda still when it's Geranda, but Its height is at 54 meters, its weight is at 62,000 tons, and its birthplace is Monerase no Eise Girando. So basically like a little celestial body surrounding the planet of Monera, which kind of makes sense for its backstory. Inside of the tag, we have contact information on one side, the figure number 19. Of course, you'll never find it that early in the Ultra Monster series, ever again. But it's from the movie Ultraman Tiga and Ultraman Dyna, Hikari no Hoshi no Senshi Tachi, or Warriors of the Star of Light. And let's see, Karada o tsutunda kanjou na koukaku wa Dyna no Sorgento Kousen mo hanegai shi, kuchikara wa beam wo hanatsu. So basically, it's wrapped in basically a very tough type of bone material, and it reflected Ultraman Dyna's Solgent Ray, and it also shoots beams from its mouth, which of course is an inaccurate representation because it shot fireballs, but whatever. That is the entire package, so let's get on to the figure's details. Now that I've owned 2 of these figures, I finally realized that the correct way that these figures are meant to be portrayed is with these wings extended. Unfortunately, the manufacturers don't seem to realize that, because of course the paint scheme on this figure is not that great. Now from that extreme snapshot, from that initial shot, you can already tell that the new figure is almost completely superior in terms of the face paint. A lot of the paint is actually missing on the face here versus the newest version, where it actually has teeth and pupils. The original figure I do not think have pupils. Let me check again. Oh wait, no, they actually do. I'm guessing that's the 1997 release that didn't have pupils. But it does not have teeth, and it does not have a good number of the blue splotches on his face that are meant to make you realize that this is actually a live kaiju. Ignoring the phone call in the background, we have again the relatively lazily sprayed on finger paint, the relatively lazily sprayed on paint for the 2 sides right here, and the relatively lazily done spray paint on the feet. Now these are obviously issues that will carry over onto the newest release, but in any case, we can at least see where it started, and of course this figure is not one of the more accurate figures around. Needless to say, the new figure also takes the same issue from this one, where the tail is not even complete. Zooming out, you can kind of tell that this is a figure why this figure really attracted me, because of the not the bone white, but the milky white color scheme that this guy has, unlike the newest figure, which is more accurate with the bone white. I kind of like this milky white look, even though I prefer it would be bone white and silver, but this blue is really what's attracting me, because this blue is a very beautiful metallic blue, and it's kind of a shame that they didn't use this paint a lot more often, you know, despite the fact that it's inaccurate. On the back of the figure, of course, we have pretty much the same paint scheme as the newest one. And that is about it for details. So in the end, this figure is actually fairly well detailed, enough to knock Roll off her feet in the background there. And without further ado, let's get on to the articulation. Wasting a lot of time with detail and the intro is really hurting this video, but I guess that's kind of an unnecessary evil. Now, the newest release figure actually has some decent articulation in the arms, in which case this bone right here is actually able to slide into the crevice right here so that his arm can move a little bit more. But for the old one, it's a little bit more stubborn because the mold hasn't shrunk yet. The arm still rotates a little bit, but this arm is kind of stuck. It can no longer grab his own knee because of how stiff this arm is. The tail still rotates 306 degrees with no problem, and the wings fold up as you saw with the other Geranda. That's the newer one. This display is not bad, except the fact that these bulbs stick out here, which is kind of silly, mainly because in the actual show with the actual suit, these parts are actually cut like this so that you can't really tell these are two balls on the side. But in any case, I think this is still a decently well done display of anything. Let's get some quick size comparisons out of the way. We're going to compare him with one UHS figure, one UMS figure, and one Ultrac figure. I'm sure you know what all of those anagrams mean, or abbreviations, I guess, mean. I'm not that great at English, I'm sorry. So let's start with the Ultra Hero Series figure, because we are starting with Ultraman Dyna in Flash type. Nope, that's terrible. Get out of here. Dyna is at 55 meters, Geranda is at 54, so even though there is supposed to be a difference, it's not supposed to be that big of a difference. Next up, let's try the UMS figure, Deathfacer, and this is actually a fairly decent comparison. Now, Deathfacer was leagues taller than Dyna, and these two look like a team. This is why in Giant Daikaiju Battle, the Wii game, you should always pair these two as a team. Take that from me. And finally, let's move on to the last figure to compare for this little comparison here. We're going to go with the Ultrac, which of course you know is going to look pretty terrible. Getting the tag back into the shot, what do I think of this figure in the end? What is my rating? My final rating is a 5 out of 5, surprisingly, because I actually don't think there's a lot wrong with this toy, because again, this is fairly early technology that we're dealing with. In fact, what this figure really makes me think is that this new one actually slacked off a good bit and neglected a lot of the details and carried on with a lot of the flaws that these old ones actually showed up with. The sizing may be not that great, but in the end, you know, that impressive wingspan is really what you would want to buy this figure for. And honestly, why would you not want to buy this figure? I give it a full recommendation. If you can find this thing for under $20 tagged, I'd say go and pick it up. And that's right, under $20, because my standards for this guy are higher than usual. If you like the character, if you like the movie that he is from, if you like Ultraman Dyna in general, because of course that movie is a part of Dyna canon, I'd say go ahead and pick it up without hesitation. If you can find it for the price range that I have just described above, of under $20, without a question, go pick it up. If you are more on the fence of it, I'd say leap over that fence or tear it down and just get it anyway. But yeah, this has been the review. I'm Yanai, and I will see you guys next time.